Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Lytle, Chief Investment Officer for StoneX Wealth Management. The last few weeks of performance in the U.S. markets, particularly large cap and small cap areas of the market, made us want to take a look back over the last few years and see if we saw any similar patterns to what we've seen this year so far. So with that, in a minute here, you'll see a slide on the screen. A few things just to note for you about it. First of all, we shaded these boxes really just to help you separate the years, so don't read anything further into them. We start each year at 0, so we can see the pattern year by year and see if there's any kind of discernible things that we can notice. And then lastly, as the line moves up on the chart, that's large cap outperforming. As the line comes back down and certainly crosses over that midline, that's small cap outperforming. So there's really two things that we notice. First of all, if you look all the way out to the right, that's 2025, and you notice kind of a difference. There's 2022 there in the middle with really no discernible pattern between large and small. If you remember, that was a really difficult year. Stocks were down, bonds were down, just kind of everything was poor at once, if you will. But out to the right, we see, again, more muted returns than we've seen really in any other period. So every other period, other than 22 and other than this year, we've had at least a 15% outperformance of large over small at some point during the year. We haven't seen that. We capped out really in the high single digits this year. The other thing we're seeing is that big, kind of hook down you see on the far right. That's the last 2 weeks. So small cap outperforming large by a pretty sizable margin over those 2 weeks. The biggest really since the July period of 2024, which, if you remember, was the quote unquote great rotation that lasted for all of about 3 weeks. So we saw a huge outperformance, kind of really just an anti-rally, if you will. Everything that hadn't done well took off for about 3 weeks, and then that stopped and everything went back to the way it had been for the past few years, with large cap and growth outperforming in particular. So we've seen this recently, and really we'll want to see this persist. But overall, even within this year, we can see a little bit of a different pattern. Again, more even leadership across sectors, even leadership across growth and value, and even leadership across cap in a way that we really haven't seen in some time. So we'll see if this continues, and we'll obviously come back to you if we see more about it. Thanks for stopping by.